Hello and welcome. As it is the weekend now, it's Friday, the 16th day of March. It's also crypto day today. Every day is crypto day. Welcome. Everything is within your own risk, own reward. Let's start off within Faircoin, which I last commented about how it wasn't fair that it was going down or the failed move was coming in, fast move lower. Of course, that was using the name case for dry humor. Well, it has been delisted today, and a continuation for this down move is in play. So I will no longer be covering this. I no longer hold any of these. I was also holding them on a smaller exchange, but if they're not available on a large exchange, then I really don't want any part of it. And when I look at all of these quote-unquote shit coins, I do realize with some of them, how many merchants are going to accept Faircoin as their payment? Really? I mean, really? How about Crown Coin as their payment? It's up pretty good on this early session. The market has just opened for this one. It's been open for an hour and 12 minutes. So if you look at this on, say, a 15-minute time frame, oh, there we can see it. These low volume codes. We can see that these things hardly move on the 15-minute time frame. Just to give you an example of what a larger exchange would look like, let me just find something like Neo. And even then, that one doesn't move the most as well either. However, 15 minutes, you can see the price go from 17 up to 20. That's like 15% approximately. And just a small push like such. Is this thing going to get delisted at some point? I don't think so, but you never know. It's got a very good long-term trend, at least from my memory. Okay, well, maybe not the most fantastic. However, it's been holding this level of support during its entire run, but it has made several lower highs since its outset. In fact, every single one has been lower. And for any type of waiting for reversal of trends, well, we can see clearly at the start of this, October down to December, straight down from about 5x down. And then one nice solid move up. It's been a solid move lower. There's your up move, down move. They're all coming in over and over again. So will this pattern remain? And after this solid downtrend is over, will this have an uptrend while still be trading on Bittrex? I guess the second one makes it a little bit difficult to discern. Startcoin was also delisted on Bittrex for today. I don't think I've ever purchased any of this, not in a long time anyway. I don't remember such anyway, but this had extreme moves back up and down, and it just had a big fall. So if you're really concerned about having coins getting delisted, you simply may not want to play a lot of these lower ones. Play the ones you may be confident on the fundamentals for whatever reason. And then if you know enough on something there that I think this is strong enough not to be such. I don't know why they even get delisted after all. They do all seem like a bunch of scams the way I look at it. However, the mathematics and price only paying is a big motivator to get in there, trade these things, increase your cryptocurrencies, use cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. And of course, I purchased in a video today, I talked about buying more silver. I'll be doing so again in another week or two. And that's what is fun about this game. But yeah, you're going to have these kinds of moments. Now, last week, it was Capricorn that got delisted. And since it has done so, it bottomed on the day of the delisting and has grinded higher for a close last Friday at 2,500, and it's sitting in right now at 2,981, or up almost 20% since this close last week. Okay. I don't know what's going to go on with this. The only place I knew of that it was traded was on Yobit. Almost everything's on Yobit, however. And it really wasn't trading much at all. It probably would be now if this is getting, because this is getting delisted. But this thing was obviously in a downtrend, in a large one, ever since its original highs, and has made a large number of patterns of lower highs. The original level of 2015 support was obviously resisted on multiple occasions throughout the year 2017 and again once this year. Let's look at EMC, and it's got a nice little setup right now. And we're looking at something that had been holding its gains from the end of the year rally last year. Not many codes have given back just this little. So that's the first beautiful thing that I notice. Secondly, for reversal of trend, stage 1, band flattening out. Now it band flattened out here, but it went down, came back within the flat band, but it had several days going lower, extending the downtrend. And then it flattened out again here for about 5 days. It broke above the band on the March the 10th, establishing a level of resistance. It's now established in that of 47,830. It then comes back to the 18 average and finds support at the 18 average of lows. And on Friday's session today, it broke out above it. And this little red candle is only about 75 minutes into the session. So it's just starting the session. Stage 4 is the break of that level. So roughly you see around 50K, even 49,005. There's a decent chance this thing could end up starting a new high. When I see a pattern like this, where you have a good rise, and mainly a sideways correction, but definitely has to have only a little bit of price. And a 38.2% correction, which is what this blindly looks like. So just giving back a little bit. That when it has that movement, and then it corrects the band and does everything like technical analysis like you want it to, and so far it's doing such, that when you end up breaking above here, you're at 50, 52, 53, all the market indicators are saying, okay, now we're in a bull run, we'll see how high this can get. Oftentimes, I get a little bit leery thinking, oh, how is 67,000 going to be for a resistance point? AKA a place to sell. And a place to sell is somewhere in which you are confident that it's just done forever, you don't want any part of it again, or it's just going to go lower. That's great. Or it's something you think is good, but you want to get it back at a cheaper price. And that's what scares me about selling at this stage. Okay, yeah, maybe it might resist a little bit here. That's a key word, a little bit, because oftentimes maybe it comes back to 50. Hey, you know what? That's not a bad flip if you can get it. But it's only okay. It's 36% down. And it's an intra small movement within the markets. When you've seen in December how it's coming for, or going to 5,700 up to about 70,000, about a 12 times return. Well, that's a magnificent move. But furthermore, this level of resistance we can see was tested last spring, as well as, well, basically last spring at the middle and end of the seasons. So we'll take a look at this on a more longer term time frame, maybe the 3-day chart, to clarify all of this. So a lot of resistance amongst this point. And I think if you want to look for a more better upside target, we got the highs from 2016. The summertime highs at about the 135,000 handle. That's about a 3x move. And you never know, maybe it's got what it takes to take those levels out. You also, I mean, yeah, you could have some monstrous plays within it. But with that being stated, like all of these patterns, whether a setup looks good, which it does, or if a move comes into play and it doesn't do it, we're going to be talking about failed move, fast move. So as I see a bullish setup continuing on for several days like this and see all the indicators like it riding the 18 average of highs, obviously any type of uptrend, keeping the short-term movement. And if these things don't get going after making a statement that they are, then that to me indicates failed move, fast move to the opposite direction. Because oftentimes from a failed move creates a fast move in the opposite direction. Here's one that didn't. Oftentimes a failed move. Here's a failed breakdown. Any fast move in here? No. And it really didn't resist this level for any type of large setups either. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, within this range, one can state is very neutral. And maybe you want to look for some sort of key break above what has been a more significant level of around the 60,000 handle, because you realize the amounts of gains breaking past here, well, you could easily get more than a 2x gain for something like that. So whichever strategy you look for yourself, or whatever suits best for you, that's what I would stick with. And if a lot of the things you're not doing aren't working, then I would suggest just looking at some of the strategies that are making things difficult for you, and try to maximize your strength, minimize your weaknesses, and just all I can suggest is just try to practice other different techniques until you find what is right. Okay, let's move on to a few other ones. ZEC, Zcash, which has been in a major straight decline of neither small or monstrous size moves, because each of them are noticeable, but each day grinding its way lower. It's well below the 18 average of lows, has really not been anywhere outside of a bearish state since it left the band on February the 16th, so basically straight down. It's approaching a key level in at around the 2687 mark that I'll be looking to see how well it holds the support. But the basic key is that I like to look at for buying low and selling high is below the 18. So if you look down back in here, oh, decent move below here, goes sideways, and now you just look for decent leg lowers. Okay, 40, somewhere around here maybe, somewhere around here, and then every so often, and then when I see the opposite moves come in, that's when you can allow sell opportunities. The overall movement for this has had a lot of interesting up and down choppy moves. I am not too sure, like any of these, how well a lot of them are going to do on the long-term time frame. I thought months and months ago, when there was like several hundred coins, there was way too many. Now there's about 1,500. Maybe there's going to be like 4, 5, 6,000 of these things, and I don't know what is too much. But again, using these as trading mechanisms, I like to use. Let's look at ADA next, which is Cardano. And let's just take a look at some Fibonacci here. I haven't got no lines in here, so let's use the highs and the lows that we have. It had a huge move before. The high that I can see is 91.80, I think. And we will calculate that with the low of 254. And then put some lines in. And the scaling for this chart doesn't do well for Fibonacci or for exponential chart, but the 23.6% down mark is somewhere around there. The exact number is in at 39.37. It first pierced below it, above it, and then it pierced below it. And of course, never resisted it on the way down. Again, this is a 23.6% down move. If I didn't put it in log, it doesn't make much of a difference. So to look at this as a decent sized decline, it definitely is. It doesn't do justice. It's not really how it is, at least logarithmically. 23.32 is a 38.2% down level. And it most certainly has been both that of support and resistance in the short term. And it's falling from this area. Whether there's going to be support, whether it's making its washout or having its small pierce below, maybe that of a failed breakout to the downside at this point, we'll see. But if this area is not support, then I'm going to be looking for a 61.8% down play. That would come in at $1,000. 1,000 even. So that's the exponential Fibonacci from its all-time lows and its all-time highs. But let's just think about its ultimate volatility. And we're looking at, it's almost Thanksgiving in the United States, or Halloween has just passed, or Halloween's even on for that matter, given this time frame. Or yeah, it's just passing, and oh my goodness, 267. And then it goes up 40 times. Oh, okay. Just interesting. Just a quick look at Storj, just for pattern recognition purposes. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and all that. It came back to the band. You know, this is a little much within this point. Failed move, fast move down, maybe. But we're now at the Stein, where price is at the 18 average of lows. If you see, well, we've already seen support at about the 86.74 handle, which is relatively below. So if we see another 1, 2, 3 days where it goes down below here, and it holds and stays below the 10,000 handle, and shows a lot of weakness and a lot of time below 9,500, then I'm most certainly going to be looking at the rally from March 3rd through March 11th as a failed breakout. And then, of course, with every fast move breaking down below here, I would project a move down to twice previous hit low at around the 52.50 area. Actually, yeah, twice hit. Bitbean, same sort of deal. You came down to Fibonacci, not quite to this point. Some days within the 18 lows, it's holding on the Fibonacci, but if the 117 level is resistance in any form, then I'd be looking for at least a move down to a previous low at about 72. If you're interested in doggy Fibonacci, key numbers are at 51 and 32. It is right in the middle of those two, so basically a 50% retracement. I'll be interested to see how the 32 number holds up. Florin, which has had some nice little moves, now only 3 days pulling back. The 18 average is rising, and within that, it's going to be very important to keep that thing going, because after all of these moves, if it doesn't hold and we see weakness within the 18, first the band flattening out, then seeing consistent action staying below, establishing some sort of form of support below the 18. And then the bearish signals are going to be coming into play, and that's not to go down to the 932 previous support. That'd be looking to go down to the 523 previous low. I mean, within Redcoin, this is a huge example. So here we have band flattening out in the middle parts, the second half of February, or the 2/3 part of February, in February 1920. There's the rally to 25th of February up to 121. So it made the statement. There's a correctionary move. So here we have the 18 average of lows in here. And this is what it looks like, to support below it, resist. And this is telling you the signs for the market to be going lower. So the fact that it was at 75, is at 62 now, should not be any surprise. But furthermore, this level of resistance represents the support that was going in through the first couple of weeks of February. I would be very, very shocked if this thing doesn't come down and test the 35 area. I'm expecting Guppy for the similar kind of analysis. We see these moves tested here and try to get going in without the band being flat on 2 different days, February 2nd and February 15th. But in here, the band did flatten out. It had 3 separate days in a row where it tried to have decent gains, was unable to, well, it found support within the 18 average of lows. That's one of the things you got to do, but then you got to lift off from there, and it couldn't do that. Then it resisted such, and is now holding and having some pause movement on Friday after 2 decent red down days. So just like Bitbean, I would be expecting this one to go down a few hundred more points. Codes like DOPE, D-O-P-E, on the daily time frame, it's just stuck in the band. I don't even know why I put that up. I did, though. Pot keeps on resisting within the 18 average of lows. This is a long, grinding decline. But within all these codes, when they're ready, man, I think they're going to get really, really high. THC being another, and I got in at 1,000. I got some more at 750. I'll be looking to get some more again. I don't got a line in that, but it's at 500. Key Fibonacci's at around 560. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Pathetic coin is coming down to its previous key low at about 380. It's currently priced in at 420, and like a lot of the other ones, grinding its way lower. And it was at 1300 way back when, so it's lost a lot. But I guess it's still up from when it broke out last year. Will something like this ever get delisted? What I've liked about this kind of code is, wow, nice little rally going from 28 Satoshi, resisting in here, and it's been holding this area for quite some time. So to say that this is massive support would be an understatement. The more times you test it, the more likely it is you take it out. But even if it does get taken out, there's still a chance you could get support within this area and then develop some sort of lower high, maybe even if it's only up to like 600 to 800. However, market's always going to do, and if a level like this gives in, well, now you'd be expecting to lose, if this doesn't hold, severe amount of percentage points just from this point. We're talking like maybe even down to like 82 Satoshi. That's a decent loss. See a coin which did not do well with its last Fibonacci point at 202 is approaching the next near one at 124. It's currently in at 138. Unbreakable having further test within this move, and like I've stated on the failed move fast move, this thing doesn't get going. I would expect at least a fast move down to this previous low where it came from. But if it can get going above this resistance, it's been spending several times, of course, near the 18 lows, but getting a move above here, then maybe that might be enough to spark what could manifest to monstrous type of gains. But that's like the whole crypto game, and every single crypto day, the possibilities to have those magnificent moves. And when I see situations where it goes up, oh, it's at 17.9 after like 2 days. I look on Bittrex, it's one of the top gainers at 38.5% or some other hypothetical number. I'd be thinking, yeah, of course there's a good chance this thing could even double from here on in. And then, well, I guess even getting above this point, it could even do more. And yeah, this is enough for the video. I've went through pretty much everything that I wanted to. And have yourself a magnificent day. Bye-bye.